What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Wonbyone Podcast, where we talk about the habits, mindsets, and systems that drive success both on and off the court. I'm here joined today with Baylee Steele, professional athlete. Baylee, what's going on, man? How are you?
How we doing, Obi?
Good,
Thanks
man.
for having me.
Yeah, man. Look, this is my first time meeting you. This is their first time meeting you. So for y'all that don't know, man, Baylee's been on Instagram, tapped in with him, loved what he was doing, loved his message, loved how he was showing the behind the scenes stuff of what a professional life looks like. And so I wanted to bring him on the podcast and get his take, man. So give us a little introduction. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do? Just a short little intro.
Obviously I'm a basketball player, played professionally 5 years now. And it's a crazy life, man. So I started documenting it on Instagram. Over the 5 years I've been playing, first two were in Europe. Years 3 and 4, I was in Japan at a very low level. I was in B3 Japan. And this last season, I made the jump to the CBA in China. And I got to thinking, and I'm like, this is really a wild journey. So
that's crazy, bro.
I figured, why not document it and tell people what's really going on behind the scenes of overseas basketball?
They don't understand what you just said, though. Like, I know what you just said, but they don't know what you just said. You went from B3 Japan to the CBA?
Correct.
That's crazy, bro. Congrats.
It's wild.
Congrats.
I appreciate it, man. It was like a lot of luck was involved, but it's just for people that don't understand, B3 Japan level is, I tell it how it is. It's the lowest in Asia, straight up. And then going to the CBA, it's it's the top of Asia, right? Like, you don't really get in there unless you have a big name or I did. I went to
you're an NBA guy. I mean, yeah, straight up. The only NBA guys are there.
Unless you get that ticket, it's tough to get in there, And I got in there and I'm like, let me tell the world what's going on, And so that's what I try to say with my content. I try to be real. I try to be straight up. Like, can I cuss?
Say whatever you want, bro.
This is shit that really happens to professional basketball players, So I got fired after the first 2 months in the CBA. I told the world what's really going on. My team didn't pay me for my summer league. I said what's going on straight up. This is what happens, I love it, though. I love this life, and I'm happy to be able to share my journey and my experience with this game.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. All right, let's take it back. So we're going to go through your whole journey, man. Real quickly, college, what was that like for you? Where were you at? What did it look like?
Yep. So basically, I'll take it way back, right? So I didn't play basketball my whole life. I was a baseball player and, been playing since I was 3 years old. Wanted to play in the MLB, wanted to play professionally. When I was getting to 14, 15, I started to decline and other players started to go right past me, but I was growing and I was playing JV basketball in 10th grade and I had fun. So I'm like, you know what? I think I'm just going to go all in on basketball. And that dream shifted from professional baseball to professional basketball. So at this point, I'm just a 6'11", 7-foot, uncoordinated baby giraffe with a crazy work ethic. So I'm like, how can I turn this body into a professional basketball player? Go D1, right? Senior year of high school, I'm not good. I'm just tall. So I go JUCO. I turned down the D2 offers and NAI offers. I go JUCO. That was a grind, I ended up getting an offer from Eastern Michigan University. I go there my second year. I'm there. I want to go pro, but I'm not learning the game. So I make the decision to transfer. I go to Utah Valley University under Coach Mark Pope. And I really learned the game from him. I'm like, this is where I need to be. This is where I'm going to turn into a professional basketball player. I go there, have a solid junior year. Coach leaves, goes to BYU. Last piece to the puzzle, I got to shoot, I got got pick and roll, I got a little midi. Now I got to shoot in the game. So Coach Pope didn't like me shooting threes. I understand it. I went to a school where the coach loved my shot. So I played for Coach Danbrought at Duquesne for my last year. And keep in mind, this was before it was cool to
Yeah.
go to play at 4 schools.
Wait, how old are you?
For
How old right now today? How old are you?
I'm 27.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So back then, you got to keep this in mind when you're framing it, right? If you go to 4 schools before this NIL, before you have to sit out, or before you didn't have to sit out,
It's
you're a
crazy.
problem player. What's
That's
wrong with them?
crazy. That's
But
crazy.
in my case, I went to places I needed to go in order to get me to that professional level.
Wow. Okay. All right. So then all of that happens. Obviously, you didn't get drafted, right?
Right.
Then what?
So this was actually when COVID happened, 2020. Our conference tournament, our A10 conference tournament got canceled, right? So I was vetting agents and everything. I ended up signing with this agency is called JCK to go pro. Originally we were thinking, maybe I'll get a couple of NBA workouts, but I'm like, my goal was never to make it to the NBA, and we'll talk about that later. But my goal was always just to play professionally. And so I was like, let's go overseas. So I signed with my agent and told him, just put me in a respectable league where I can show that I can play. And that entire summer was just grinding, working, getting ready to play at that next level.
So I'm going to take you back real quick. What was that like starting? You said you started your sophomore year in high school?
Yep, I was 16. When I went all in, I had just turned 16. Yep.
And you just love basketball? Where you weren't any good, obviously. You were just big and loved the game and loved to work hard.
So I never really had that joy, right? My whole life, baseball was my joy. But on that JV team that year, I had a double towards the end of the season, and I was having fun. And I was like, you know what? Why am I going to keep playing baseball? I can do this. This is more realistic for me. I have much more fun doing this than that. So I just went all in, man, and I was just working. I loved it. Like, that was my escape from everything else around me. And so I was 3 and 4 days, man. That's it.
Were you any good your senior year?
I mean, nah, I was just tall, bro.
Yeah.
Like I was just tall, and I went 110% every single play.
And I say that, man, because it's important for our listeners to understand something. Because I deal with a lot of young athletes who don't play. They're not playing. They're not where they want to be. They see all their friends and everybody's playing either JV or varsity or whatever, and they're like, "Man, I want to be there, but I'm not there. Oh, I'm just not good enough. I just shouldn't be doing this." Right? That's their attitude. And I'm telling them, I'm trying to show them guys that have been there that. I tell them my story. I had 2 Division I offers. I wasn't ranked. I didn't have any accolades behind my name, right? And there's guys who were like you who didn't have any accolades, who didn't have any offers. That doesn't matter. When you're in high school, if you don't have the offers, none of that matters. But social media makes it shows guys all these, and it gets them to think like, oh, well, if I'm not being shown on ESPN Top 100, if I'm not a McDonald's All-American, if I don't have these offers, that doesn't matter. And I try to tell kids, I try to tell parents, but they won't listen to me. And so now, hopefully, they'll listen to you.
Yeah. So what I have to say about that is very short-term thinking. That's a very short-term mindset, and I've never got caught up in that. Right. I mean, obviously, it's cool to get noticed by media and to get your name out there. But I have never been like that, never ranked, nothing, 0 name. I have no name, never have. And I've taken that upon me to give myself a name, right? But I have always thought long-term. I've always thought about my 5-year goal, where I want to be. And naturally, when you think with a long-term mindset, you're going to backtrack and create the steps of how to get there, right? And
Ooh.
so use my path I took to make it to that professional level, which was literally 5 years from the day I graduated high school. How do I get to that level to play professional? I'm not a D1 player yet, but I have the body. I had it easy. I'm a 7-footer. All right.
Sure.
Not like that's my God-given gift. As far as talent, skills, zero. I had zero.
Yeah.
So that was all through my work ethic. So I just knew I needed to work my fucking ass off, work harder than anybody else in the room, and that's what I did for those 5 years straight. I can confidently say that I was every single day I was the hardest worker in the room, and that is the only reason why I got to this point, because of my work ethic and because I had that long-term mindset.
Yeah, man, that's what I try to talk to the kids about. You know, I say kids, but I really just mean anybody that's younger than me. So if you're younger than me, I'm 32 as of yesterday, by the way. So if you're younger than
Happy
32,
birthday.
appreciate you, man. Man, so tell me, what is it something we talked about your overseas journey, man? What is something that people don't understand about playing internationally?
Man, they don't understand how cutthroat this shit really is, man. Like my first game I played, right? I got that lesson. So it's preseason. I'm in Poland, Spójnia Stargard, playing for the top league in Poland. And they bring me in as a rookie big man, and they're planning to sign another big man, you know, a vet, someone to split the minutes with. So they bring in my boy O. We're grinding the whole preseason. Coaches trying different lineups for seeing who he likes more and whatever. And I end up getting the starting position. But O had a problem with his previous team and did not have his release from them. So he was not eligible to play in our first game. Our first game, we played the Champions League team, Lublin, and we beat them without O. After the game, all us imports go to get dinner, and O was like, hey, y'all, they just cut me, man. And I'm a rookie. I'm like, what is going on? You know, like, didn't even do anything. Like, and that's why I saw how cutthroat this is. And it's like the team viewed that as, we don't need this guy, so we're going to cut him. It all ended up working out. He stayed. His agent, gangster, he ended up staying on the team. We're with each other the whole year. But that was the first real lesson of like, this shit is cutthroat. This is a business, you know, like people are feeding their families through this game.
Yeah. And that's real, bro. That's real, because it is as cutthroat as it gets, man. Walk us through China, man. The Japanese transition to the CBA. What was that like for you personally?
Yeah, man. So in between Japan B3 and CBA was that summer. And my path into the CBA was that Chinese Summer League, the NBL. I went into that league with a chip on my shoulder. I was like, okay, I'm coming off a 20-12 season at the lowest level in Asia. So that means nothing. It doesn't mean shit. I have to prove myself all over again. So I'm there and I'm ready. I have the mindset to show that I can't just produce at a low level. I can do this at a much higher level. And so that was my mindset going in there. I played very well. I averaged 22-12 with that team that season. I was shooting the shit out the ball like 43% from three. And these CBA teams started to take notice, right? So I signed, and I'm going there, same thing. I saw firsthand how these NBL players, the Chinese, the locals, looked at these CBA teams. They looked at them how we look at NBA players. Like, This is the big leagues. So same thing again. I got to prove myself all over again. Like, these guys don't respect me at all. I have to show what I can do. And so our first preseason game, I'm like, I got to show them. Also, knowing how cutthroat this is, CBA is notoriously cutthroat. The contracts are 1+1 plus rest of the season, or 2+2, which is in month increments. There's no fully guaranteed contracts there, so they can cut you right away.
That's so crazy, bro.
So that first preseason game, we're playing this Taiwanese team over there, or they came over to us. And, man, I got to a crazy start. I had like 15 in the first maybe 8 minutes, all dunks, threes, right? And then we had this play. It's a 5-out series. Swing the ball to me from the wing, dribble handoff, or alternative to that play was the guard sets a screen for me. I was thinking that he was setting a screen for me, miscommunication. I go to come off the screen, guard wants to come off a handoff. I bust my eye open. So I'm like, and it's bad, like I shouldn't go back in the game. I need stitches ASAP, right? My mindset is, these guys don't know me. They're going to think I'm soft if I don't continue playing. So I'm like, fuck this, man. I got to show these guys show this team what kind of guy they got. I went back in the game and I finished with 40. And I was like, I'm here. I have to show them the type of player that I really am, because at that level, man, they rotate players. So yeah, and then it was downhill from there.
Really?
We'll talk about it. Yeah.
For your play, you mean?
Yeah, man, for everything. So CBA is different, and I'm trying to show people that, the other player.
Talk to us. I've never been there. I heard all the stories, and I'm sure the listeners don't know. So talk to us, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the other import they brought in, he was struggling. He had just played in the CBA the previous year. He was killing. He's solidified. He proved himself that he can play, but he was struggling in preseason, and they cut him in preseason. So now my guard's up. I'm like, shit, man, I can't be messing around, So we finished preseason. I'm playing well. Then they bring in, 3 other imports. And the rules over there, 4 imports on a roster, 2 can play at the same time for the first 3 quarters, but the 4th quarter, only 1 can play. So the minutes drop, right? And they go with whoever's playing well. And we got off to a very slow start in the regular season. Started out 1-8, right? In games 7 and 8 of that stretch, I play absolutely horrible. I have like 2 points and 4 points, right? Up until then, I'm playing solid. But those 2 games, it did it for me, man. After that 9th game, I'm sitting eating dinner, and I get the email, notice of termination, right? And so I call I'm on the phone with my agent. I'm like, are you seeing this right now? Like, they just cut me. So packed my bags, went back to the crib.
Wow.
That was my first little experience with the CBA. So just to give you guys a little context of how cutthroat that is, in the first 2 months.
That's crazy.
3 players
bro.
gone.
That's crazy, bro. And that's. I mean, what is it like from your perspective, in your words? What is it like being a player in that situation, man? Just walking on eggshells, right? Like, walk us through that. What is it like?
I mean, obviously, this is our job to play basketball. And yes, you have pressure to perform, otherwise you're going to lose your job. But at the end of the day, what I keep telling myself is that this is a game, and there's much larger problems going on in the world. So I try to frame my situation like that. So this shit really does not matter, right? But at the same time, it taught me very valuable lessons about the real world. If you do not provide value, then us men, have to provide value. Otherwise, we have no value.
What are you doing?
Exactly. And so playing basketball, you have to show your worth. You have to be valuable to your team. Otherwise, they don't need you.
And that's the thing. And I deal with a lot of youth athletes, and I tell them that. And I deal with a lot of guys, and they're going to be listening to this, who think they're better than they are, right? And they walk around like the man. And I'm just telling them, man, if they'll play and they'll be like, well, everybody knows that I'm better. And I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean? If you didn't prove today what you can do, then nobody knows anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're only as good as your last pitch. Is that what they say in baseball? You're only as good as your last game, bro. It's sad, but that's how they treat us, right? That's the real world. And so, I'm dealing with athletes, and I tell them, like, every chance you get, you got to take that guy's head off. Every chance you get. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to, if you've got, whatever you're at going into the end of the game, you need to try to increase that. Yeah, there's no such thing as like, oh, I've got 20, I'm gonna relax. You need to push that barrier every time. And so you can't let up on the gas. And especially for guys like, myself, who doesn't have the big name, right? You have to show your worth 24/7. And it's tough. It is tough. It's tough.
It's tough. It's tough. And, with social media today, I can't even imagine, if I were to take my path in 2025, I would not be where I am today. So I got lucky in that sense, but I've always had the mindset, I'm not shit. It's been for a good reason, I really was never a great player. But I think it's because of that underdog mindset that I've always had, and that I hope I always will have. That is why I am able to play at this level. Okay, I'm not in the NBA, but in my eyes, in my perspective, I achieved everything I wanted to with this game. So I count that, in a sense, as a success story for me. But these kids got to realize, man, you are not shit. Like, you are replaceable in the snap of a fucking finger. Like, you are not shit, and that is the truth. That is the reality. Every single person is replaceable. It's real shit, man.
Yeah, man. How has this? What doors has social media? I know you've been very open, which has been great. Like, I love watching your stuff and seeing the behind the scenes, bro. I love seeing that. Like, when I see guys, I'm like, bro, show me what it looks like over there in Japan or in Africa, show me what it looks like walking down the street, what practice looks like. That's what people want to see. Has that route that you've taken opened up doors for you? Has it changed your mentality about how you view the situations you're going through? Has it made it a little bit lighter for you? What has that been like?
Since I started making content and documenting my life, really, you can view it from two different perspectives. Yes, I've gotten job offers because of social media. I've had coaches and GMs reach out to me directly with good jobs, like a lot of money. But there's also that worry that, I don't want to say worry, but people can view you as, I don't want that type of player in my organization. And so I've had multiple people ask me, like, are you worried that a team won't hire you because of your social media? And my response to that is just, if a team doesn't want me to help out the next generation of hoopers and show my experience, then I don't want to play for that organization at all. The amount of doors that have been opened for me because of social media, it doesn't even compare to the couple that might have been shut.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even, that wouldn't have been even my thought process, is people that, in today's day and age, like, everybody is so, well, part of the reason, I don't know if you watched the NFL draft, but what's his name? What is his name? Shadur, they were talking about him,
Mm,
the same situation. But I don't think. I mean, for you, his situation is a whole nother thing with his dad, and that's different. But
yeah.
I do think that it's a good thing, man. I think this is great for the what you're doing, dude. I love what you're doing for the athletes and showing the real. I was having a conversation with the kid yesterday, a college kid who wants to go play professional, and I was like, man, and he was like, man, I just don't know if I'm good enough. Like I always play with y'all and I lose. And I'm like, man, if you only knew what it was like overseas, bro. Like, and I'm
Hmm.
just telling them what it's like and how, they look at us and they think you're overseas playing and you're chilling and making great money and no, man, it's nasty over there. Like
Hmm.
it's a gauntlet. It is a business. You're dealing with a lot of nonsense. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of like resilience. It takes a lot, all of that stuff, man. Um, One thing I wanted to ask you, man, what does success look like for you in today? Like, how do you define success?
Yeah, man. Success for me, I mean, I see myself as successful because I achieved everything I wanted to with this game, right? And so if I were to stop playing today, I would be content on my career. Um, the way I've always viewed basketball and life in general is that this is setting me up for the rest of my life, right? So my 20s specifically is building my foundation for the rest of my life to give me and my family a head start in life. But I, I really see my success as if I'm able to transition from basketball to the real world. I have my ideas that I want to do off the court, but I think that is my new success meter, I guess, because these, retired hoopers and athletes in general talk about all the time how they lose themselves after they retire because this is what we've been doing our entire life. And so if I can have that smooth transition and help people the way that I plan to, that is a success in my book.
I love it. I love it, man. So who is you talked about outside of basketball? Who is Baylee Steele outside of basketball?
Yeah, man. Outside of basketball, I mean, that's a deep question. We can go a lot of ways with
What do you
that.
do? What do you do? What do you like to do? Who are you when the cameras aren't on? Who are you?
you know, so I view life in two two big sections, right? One is what do you do, what's your occupation, how do you make money? And the other is family, right? I come from a background where my parents they got in a divorce when I was younger, when I was around, 12, 13 years old, and that really impacted me. So I place I really value family, right? And so I want to focus as much time as possible of figuring that side out so that I can figure out the other side now. I have my fiance. I'm extremely happy. That is my partner. That is my life partner, right? She's the one for me. Now that I have that figured out, it opens up everything else to how am I what am I going to do, right? I've always told myself I will never work a 9 to 5. I've never had that mindset. And basketball is kind of helping me to see like we're employees. And so I guess just to go back to your question, I'm outside of my workout time, I'm focusing on building my business, right? And how I can really provide as much value as possible to the world. So that's what I like doing. I really like helping people. My thing is I help athletes with their knee pain, right? So
I
like
have seen. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So that's kind of where my free time is spent now. I had um I had a rough journey, man. I was told I needed hip surgery in 2019. And I was like, I'm 20 years old. I don't need this. So I just kind of took the pills to bear with it and just get through it. And then that kind of led into some knee pain problems to the point where I was getting injections and taking prescription painkillers, like some strong shit, man. Shit that I do not advise anyone to do.
They
But
do that for the bigger guys too. They love to do that,
yeah,
like tranquilizers for y'all, man.
yeah, yeah. So I had recently just found the solution. Instead of, we won't get too into it, but instead of just doing cookie cutter rehab stuff, it's to rebuild the entire body. And so that is what I help athletes do now. I help them with their knee pain, and just to show them, like, these injections, man, are not it. They're just going to fuck your body up. You're going to become reliant on them. The painkillers are not it. You're going to just, your body will rely on them. You're going to fuck up your liver. I think it's your liver, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not good for you, man. And then just the thousands of dollars I did spend on that. So that's what I do now, man. I really enjoy helping our clients, man, when they're like, man, I got out of bed pain free today. I just played a game yesterday. I'm not sore at all. That's what brings me happiness now. That's what I'm doing.
Good.
That's what I do now.
Yeah. That's good, man. It's
Mm-hmm.
interesting to me. That's how I found you, bro. Because I don't know if you know my history with knee surgeries, and
Mm.
so I mean, I've had 5 surgeries, 2
Mm-hmm.
ACLs, 2 meniscus, and so anybody that I see that's an athlete that's really focusing on, I'm like, let me see what they're talking about, because I've been there. I've had all these surgeries,
Mm-hmm.
all these injuries. I'm like, let me see what they're talking about, and I came across your page somehow, and I'm like, oh yeah, he knows what he's talking about. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've been and did all the same rehab stuff. I know exactly what plans he's talking about. That's great. And so for
Mm-hmm.
somebody to be filling that gap, man, I love that. I love to see it, helping people that are just like us skip steps, helping them learn from the mistakes that we had, right? And so that's beautiful, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. So you had asked me about podcasting, yeah?
What's up?
Uh,
Talk to me. How
now,
long you been
man.
doing this?
Uh, what, 3 years, 4 years? We stopped for a minute. Think probably like, yeah, 3 4 years. I think we've got like 45 episodes or something, but hit it really hard. I think this was 21, 22, and then or 2021, and then took a break for a minute, working on the brand, building the brand, and then now we're kind of we've been recording a lot. We haven't released many, but we've been recording a lot, and we're going to start releasing them and dripping them out. So yeah, man, that's what this is. This is what we've been doing. Are you
Yeah.
you interested in podcasting?
No,
No,
I'm
he said
not.
no.
No.
Yeah, no, that's
I it's a beautiful business, especially if you can get listeners like that. Those brand deals are real, man. Like,
yeah.
I see it. Um, but it's a full-time job.
It is, man. I
Yeah.
started this when I was in Spain. I started it, and I just kind of used it as a way for me to just tap in with my guys. Like, I was thinking to myself, all right, I'm in this health and wellness space. I want to help guys with the mindset and the help them with the mindset side. How am I going to do that? And I was
Yeah.
like, well, what better way than to bring all these high level athletes that I'm in contact with and have them share their story, and then provide
Exactly.
knowledge to all the listeners. So you come on here and you give all the gems about what it's like, being a professional athlete. And because one thing that I've noticed is, if you're not playing professional, if you're not overseas, if you don't have anybody that's directly contacted, even my best friends that have been overseas with me, right? They don't know. A lot of people don't know. And then talk less of somebody who's not even in the basketball world. Like, all they see is, oh, overseas, living in Madrid, living and having a good time. They don't see what's going on behind the scenes, man. So
No,
uh, I think it's important. I think, I've kind of taken it upon myself to open up these conversations with guys like yourself and share your success, man. That's incredible. You started as a sophomore in high school. That's crazy. You know what I mean?
it
Like,
is.
you don't hear about those stories.
You
And
don't.
you've been overseas, you've been hooping, you're doing it, you're loving it. You've got the right mindset as far as, um, I'm doing this. It's not who I am. It's something that I'm doing, and I'm using it
Yep.
as a vehicle. And I think
Yep.
too many times us athletes, we rely on sports, right? Until you get injured, until you have a huge something that happens that's like, well, you can't play anymore. Well, now what are you going to rely on, right? We wait for that. We wait for something like that to happen before we start looking inside of ourselves, man. So,
Mm-hmm.
my goal here is to just help the athletes that are coming up, help them to know and to look inside themselves earlier than we did, and seek the knowledge earlier than we did, to then hopefully make better decisions than we did, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about technology, man. It's like how old are you?
I just turned 32 yesterday. I'm old.
Yeah, 32. Yeah. So when we were in high school, if you didn't know someone directly, if you didn't have a direct mentor in this basketball game, you had no one really to learn any of this from. Today, we have so many different outlets, podcasting, what you're doing, what I'm trying to do through my social media. I'm trying to like really tell these kids what goes on, like what the real behind the scenes, what it takes to play pro. Like I'm I'm nowhere near the absolute top, but it is still a fucking grind, man. It is still like dog eats dog. And
Yeah.
so, yes. And so I think that as long as we're helping this next generation with our experiences, I mean, we're winning, man.
Yeah.
Like just I respect you for that, man.
You made it. You
Like
made it. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, there's so many kids that need that. You can say guidance, but from someone that has done it. So I think like what we say, it carries more weight than just someone who's not really hasn't been
You,
had their skin in the game.
you made a good point, man, about like when we were younger, there if you didn't know somebody, you didn't have the knowledge, right? And
Hmm.
that is literally the root of why I wanted to do what I was doing, why I started doing that. Is because I had that. I had a couple people, just a couple people who really poured into me, man. And now at 32, I look back and I'm like, I'm here now because of them.
Hmm.
I'm here because of them, right?
Yep.
And so in building one by one, I was just like, man, I want to build in today's day and age what I had back then, right?
Hmm.
So the athletes coming up can see from, really what it looks like from people who's been there. Because now with social media, yes, it's great, but now you've got Joe Schmo from around the corner who's talking about being a professional athlete. He's never played a day in his life,
Yeah.
and kids are following him, and they're like, oh, that guy doesn't know. He has no clue what's going on, right? And so to
Hmm.
hear it from somebody who's been there, and to like, we're right. I mean, what we're doing is we're keeping a log. We're documenting. This is a document, right? We're documenting what it looks like, what it looked like for us, so then the next generation can see, can listen, can hear, can watch, and see, oh man, that's what it looked like, right? And so
Exactly.
these are all our archives, man. This is the vault. This is, and I'm grateful that you're part of it, man. Honestly, like, I'm grateful that we had this story to share, and I know this one's going to hit home because you talk heavily about basketball and the business behind basketball, and that's what the younger generation needs to hear. Is this is not a fun game when you're a freshman in high school, yeah, but when you become a little bit older, this is a dog eats dog world, and you being over here playing around and not taking this thing seriously is not going to get you to where you want to be.
Hmm.
It takes the discipline, it takes the hard work, it takes all of those things, right? So if you want to get there, you got to pay the price. There's an admission. You got to pay it. If you don't want to, then you can't get there, right? But this is what it looks like. Don't say you don't know. This is it. This is what it looks like. You've
Yep.
got the plan. Go do it. It's up to you. And so you've got you've
100%.
got you've got those resources, man. And yeah, man. I just wanted to thank you for being open, bro, and sharing.
I'm trying, man. That's what I'm here for. Like there's a lot of fake shit on social media, man. And so I just try to be as real as possible and just tell people, how it is. Especially with this generation, man. Like these guys in college, you turn pro at 18 now. It's not 22, 23. Like
Yeah.
it's a different world that we're living in. And if these dudes are immature, like I'm still immature, like you have to grow up so fucking fast. You know,
Yeah.
it's real. You know, like
Straight
okay,
up.
to
Nah,
be
straight
immature,
up.
but
Straight up, bro.
yeah, when you need to handle business, like you're this is a job, man. Like it's
Yeah.
dog eats dog. Like you gotta be prepared for this.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Listen, bro, before we get out of here, I like to ask my guests 2 questions. All right. The first one I'm going to ask you is we talk about big homies. I always give credit to my big homies. I think like the way that it used to be, respect your elders. Like I'm Nigerian and I come from that. My family is that. So I always show love to my big homies, man. The guys who paved the way for me. And now I'm trying to pave the way for the guys behind me. Hopefully they'll look at me as their big homie. Who has been somebody that has had a major impact in your success, your mindset, your success in sports and life and all of those? Who's been your big homie?
My big homie, man. Um, hmm. You know, first person that comes to mind, honestly, it's my boy Jay Threat. He was my point guard when I was a rookie. Uh, he
I know
came
that
into
name.
the team. Yeah, Jay Threat from Richmond, maybe
I know that
Virginia.
name. Okay.
But man, yeah, he honestly helped me be the player I am today. You know, like he told me, how this industry really is, and we have a good relationship. Every time we talk, I'm just dogging him, but I'm gonna give him his flowers right now. That's my guy, and
Yeah.
so I mean, he just kind of helped me see like, there's levels to professionalism, and that dude he's he's a pro, a true pro.
A true pro, an all-time professional. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. Secondly, before we get out of here, how do you practice self-love?
I would say, everyone has negative thoughts, right? Um, and so I think that having that positive self talk is really important. Like I try to tell myself every day that I'm capable of accomplishing whatever I set out to, right? Um, like for example, with this with basketball, I said I want to play overseas professionally because that was realistic. And now I realize that setting those goals can be it can be detrimental to your health, man, to your mental health, because then you just have that question like, what if? But I always try to tell myself whatever I think, whatever I set my eyes on, like I can accomplish it. And so just when those negative thoughts do come, to just drown them out with two positive. That's what I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. I love that, man. I people think I'm crazy. I talk to myself all the time and I'm always talking positive. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Because those negative, like you said, negative thoughts creep in, bro. I'm always trying to say something positive. Say something positive to yourself. Speak it out loud. Speak it into existence. I'm really big on that, man. So I
Yep.
love that answer. I love the answer you gave. Positive self talk is one of my core pillars, man. So I love that. But man, I appreciate you for coming on here, bro. It's a lot of gems, for sharing your story. It was beautiful for me to reach out to you and be welcomed by you with open arms. That was great for you to come on here, share your story, man. I really appreciate it. Tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah. First, I want to thank you for having me on. I
Yeah.
mean, this is my first podcast, man.
Oh
So
yeah.
So I appreciate you for having me on. But yeah, you can find me on the gram, Baylee Steele, Baylee Steele underscore, and then yeah, like I was talking about with helping athletes with knee pain. Hit me up if you're hurting, man. I got you.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, thank you again so much for having me
Yeah,
on.
man. Yes, absolutely, bro. Thank you for coming on here. We're gonna tag you and we'll do the whole collab stuff with this when this comes out, man. So it'll be a good one. All right.
Yep.
I appreciate you, brother.
All right, Obi.
All right, man.